Welcome to another deep dive. Today we are going to be talking about Season 2, Episode 8 of This Is Us, number 1. We're looking at a Reddit thread, and, fans are really going off about a lot of things that happen in this episode. Kevin's, downward spiral. Kate's, we'll get there, but it's heavy stuff.
Yeah, this episode really hit people hard.
Yeah, and fans have a lot to say. So I guess we can just jump right into it. A lot of the comments were talking about, Kevin and his issues and how they are, reminiscent of BoJack Horseman, this show about like a washed up.
It's about like a horse.
Right, a horse, right, who's like a washed up actor.
Yeah.
And it's like a cartoon, but it deals with.
Yeah, it's a cartoon, but it's a really dark.
Yeah, dark.
And realistic portrayal of addiction.
Yeah, and fans are drawing these parallels, and I see it. I mean, it was a tough thing to watch.
Yeah.
And, there's this one detail that everybody's kind of caught on. He wrote fentanyl on the prescription pad.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, this is serious.
Yeah, he's not messing around. This is just yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Is it realistic?
Right.
Could he just get that? Would people have noticed?
Right, yeah.
It sparked a whole debate about how realistically they're portraying addiction, you know? Would people around him have noticed sooner? Or is it actually realistic that it kind of flew under the radar for a while?
Yeah, and especially with someone like Kevin,
He's so good at hiding it.
Yeah, he's got this charming facade.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, maybe it is believable.
Yeah.
And then Sophie Wright, she didn't really seem to.
Oh, Sophie's reaction was a whole other can of worms.
Yeah, is it believable?
Yeah, some people are like, come on, she should know him better than that. But then others were like, look, she's been hurt before. She has to protect herself. It's how much can you really expect from someone in that situation?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so much baggage.
Yeah.
But, it's interesting. There was one comment that actually said that Kevin's knee injury might actually be a good thing for him.
Oh, that's interesting, like a turning point kind of thing.
Yeah, he's so arrogant and, and this is forcing him to, be humble.
To kind of confront his own limitations. Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe that'll help him in the long run. Who knows?
Yeah, it's that whole thing about, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's talk about Kate now.
Oh, Kate. This is where it gets really heavy.
Yeah. So
that miscarriage, I mean...
So many people are just...
It just hit people so hard.
Yeah, they were like, I can't believe this happened. It was just shock and sadness, all over the thread. And then, I guess This Is Us is known for...
Oh, they love their twists.
Yeah, those big dramatic moments.
Yeah.
So some people were saying that they kind of saw it coming. But even if you saw it coming, it doesn't mean it hurts any less, right?
No, not at all.
And I think some fans were saying that maybe this will be a catalyst for her, her weight loss journey and all of that.
Oh, interesting. Maybe this tragedy will kind of push her in a new direction.
Yeah, maybe that's what it takes. So now there were some other smaller details and theories that we can get into.
Oh, okay.
Did you notice how the house number seems to change throughout the whole series?
Oh, yeah. Wait a minute. Is that a different number than it was before?
Yeah. Is it a continuity error?
Yeah.
Is it intentional? What's going on?
It's what are they trying to tell us?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. What does it mean? Okay. And then there was this one theory that was whoa. What if Kevin actually started the fire that killed Jack?
Oh, wow. That is dark.
Right.
But it would kind of explain a lot, right?
It would explain his guilt. Yeah.
Yeah.
And his self-destructive behavior, he's trying to punish himself.
Yeah, subconsciously seeking redemption or something.
Right, yeah. And then, okay, this is a lighter one. Someone pointed out that the 3 award winners at Kevin's high school thing, they were a mirror of the big 3.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, their paths in life.
Yeah.
And how they're all connected,
Yeah, foreshadowing or something.
Right, right. It's the writers are giving us these little hints and clues.
Definitely.
Okay, so... we have to talk about Charlotte.
Oh, Charlotte. Yeah, she's a controversial one.
Yeah, and a lot of people are not happy with her.
A lot of fans were like, she's taking advantage of Kevin. He's vulnerable.
Right.
But it's tricky, right? Because Kevin's not exactly innocent either. He went to her house.
Right. It's not that simple.
It's messy. And then there's the whole mystery of the necklace. Does she have it?
Yeah, right. Did she take it? Is that going to come back later?
It's is that going to be a big plot point?
Yeah. And then there's another theory that maybe high schooler Kelly has the necklace.
Oh, Oh, wow. I didn't even think of that.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like, imagine if she shows up wearing it, you know?
That would be crazy.
Right. And, like, how would that even happen?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we also need to talk about the, like, elephant in the room, Jack. Like, he's gone, but he's still so present.
Oh, yeah. His presence is definitely still felt, like, in every storyline.
Yeah, and one fan even said that they think his, like, ghost is kind of impacting the big three, like, guiding them.
Oh, that's interesting, like a guardian angel kind of thing.
Yeah. And they were even saying that maybe the missing necklace, like, saved Kevin somehow. Like, maybe he was going to do something really bad, and because he didn't have it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like, maybe Jack intervened somehow.
That's a really powerful thought.
Yeah, right. So, and I think we'll definitely need to talk more about Jack in part 2 of our deep dive.
Yeah, definitely. There's still so much to unpack.
Yeah, and we'll see if we can make sense of it all.
Yeah, we'll try.
But for now, I think we can take a little break and come back to it.
Sounds good. Yeah, this episode was a lot, and I think we need to, like, really talk about how it made people feel. You know, a lot of fans expressed, like, real grief and anger and even confusion, and it shows how, like, this is us. Just, like, really gets to people.
Yeah, and reading these comments, it's like I was right there with them, feeling all those things again. It's like we all went through this, like, collective grieving process together, you know?
Yeah, it's like fandom is about, like, finding a connection to something, you know? And when something like this happens and everybody feels it, it's like, you're not alone.
Yeah, it's like a support group.
Totally. You can, like, talk about it and process it and figure it out together.
Yeah. So, I guess speaking of processing things, like, one of the things that was brought up a lot was how, like, Kevin's addiction is handled so differently than Randall's anxiety.
Oh, yeah. Like, Randall, we see him struggling and going to therapy and, like, really dealing with it head on. But Kevin's just kind of, like, there.
Yeah, and I wonder if that's, like, intentional, you know? Like, maybe the writers are trying to show how addiction can be hidden, especially for someone like Kevin.
Yeah, he's got that charm, you know?
Yeah.
And he's used to, like, pushing it all down and pretending everything's fine.
Yeah. And maybe that's why it was so shocking for people to see him like this, you know?
Totally. It's like they finally peeled back the layers and we saw what was really going on underneath.
Yeah. And someone else pointed out that, like, Kevin's siblings' problems always seem to overshadow his, you know, like, he never really gets the support he needs.
Yeah, that's true. Like, Randall's breakdown was this huge thing, but Kevin's just kind of, like, swept under the rug.
Yeah. And I think that's something a lot of families deal with, you know?
Yeah, sure.
Like, one person's problems take center stage and everyone else's just get kind of forgotten.
Yeah. And in Kevin's case, he's always been the successful one, you know, the golden boy. So maybe it's even harder for people to see him struggling.
Yeah, like he's supposed to have it all figured out. But you know what this one comment said that I thought was really interesting?
What's that?
They said losing his knee might actually be the best thing that ever happened to Kevin.
Oh, wow. How so?
Like, it forces him to be humble. You know, he can't just rely on his talent and his looks anymore.
Yeah, he has to face his demons.
Exactly.
It's like that saying, you have to hit rock bottom to rise again.
Yeah. And I think that resonated with a lot of fans. Like, this episode was rock bottom for a lot of the characters.
Yeah, it pushed everyone to their limits.
Okay, so the necklace, did she take it? I mean, come on.
I know, right? Everybody wants to know.
Like, some people are convinced Charlotte has it.
Yeah, and they're, like, analyzing every little detail of that scene, trying to find clues.
Like, did she slip it in her pocket or something?
And then there are the other theories, like, what if she sold it, or what if Kelly has it?
I know, that would be wild.
Right, like, imagine she just shows up wearing it.
That would be insane. But, like, why would the writers even introduce this necklace thing if it wasn't important, you know?
Yeah, it has to mean something.
Like, maybe it symbolizes something bigger, like Kevin's lost innocence or something.
Yeah, there's definitely more to it than meets the eye.
So, Jack, like, even though he's gone, he's still such a huge presence.
Yeah, it's like his ghost is haunting everyone.
Yeah, and this one fan even said that they think Jack's ghost is, like, impacting the big three, like, guiding them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and, like, maybe the missing necklace is, like, proof of that. Like, maybe Jack intervened somehow to protect Kevin.
That's a really interesting theory.
Yeah, and it makes you think about, like, fate and destiny and all that.
Yeah, like, our loved ones still watching over us even after they're gone.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if Kate has some kind of encounter with Jack's memory, too. You know, especially after what happened.
Oh, yeah, that would make sense.
Like, the show is always finding ways to bring him back.
Speaking of Kate, can we talk about how everyone is just heartbroken for her?
Yeah, reading those comments was tough. Like, so many people shared their own stories of loss. It was just this outpouring of grief and support.
Yeah, it was really beautiful to see how everyone came together.
And I think it speaks to the power of this show. Like it tackles these really difficult subjects with so much sensitivity.
Yeah, and it creates a space for people to connect and share their own experiences.
This one comment said that maybe Kate's miscarriage will be like a turning point for her in terms of her weight loss journey.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like maybe this will be the catalyst for her to finally make a change.
Yeah, but it's also a really sensitive issue,
Yeah.
and I think the show will handle it carefully.
Yeah, definitely.
Like there's no right or wrong way to grieve. And I'm curious to see how Kate's journey unfolds.
Me too. And I think that's what makes this show so great. It always leaves you wanting more.
Yeah, like we're all just hooked on this emotional roller coaster.
Totally. And I can't wait to see what happens next.
Yeah, me too. Like there's so many unanswered questions, and I'm dying to know what happens with Kevin and Kate and the necklace. And
Yeah. And Jack, like, what role will he play in all of this?
yeah, and I think we'll definitely have even more to talk about in part 3 of our deep dive.
For sure. This episode just gave us so much to think about. Okay, so Charlotte,
Yeah, let's talk about her.
it's like people are really divided on her, you know?
Oh yeah, some people are like, she's terrible. Like, how could she do that to Kevin?
Right, like she totally took advantage of him.
Yeah.
But like, Kevin's not completely innocent either, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
He went to her house.
Yeah, and he was clearly
Yeah.
like not thinking straight.
Yeah, and I think that's what the show's trying to do, right?
Yeah.
Make us think about all the messy stuff.
Yeah, like addiction and consent and how it's not always so clear cut.
Exactly. And, you know, everyone's like analyzing that scene on the lawn,
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
trying to figure out what her real intentions were.
Like, was she being manipulative?
Yeah, or was she genuinely trying to help?
It's hard to tell, right?
It really is.
But that's what's so fun about this,
Yeah,
Like, we get to be armchair detectives and try to figure it all out.
totally. And I saw this one theory that was like, what if Kevin was actually hoping Charlotte would recognize his addiction and like help him?
Oh, interesting.
Like maybe he was subconsciously looking for a savior.
Yeah, and when she didn't step up,
Yeah.
it just pushed him further down that dark path.
And then there's the necklace.
Oh, don't even get me started on the necklace.
Everyone's obsessed with it.
I know, right? Like, did she take it? Did she lose it? Will it ever show up again?
I was waiting for her to pull it out of her pocket the whole time.
Me too.
Like it was going to be this big reveal.
Yeah.
But even if it doesn't show up again, I think it still symbolizes something, you know?
Yeah, like Kevin's lost innocence.
Exactly.
Or maybe his broken connection to his family.
Yeah, it's like he's lost a part of himself.
And I think that theme of being haunted by the past, it really resonated with a lot of fans.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Especially
Uh-huh.
with Jack's, like, constant presence.
Yeah, it's like he's still there even though he's gone.
Like his memory is shaping their lives.
Yeah. And one fan even said that maybe the missing necklace is like evidence of that.
Oh, really?
Like maybe Jack intervened somehow to protect Kevin.
Wow. That's a pretty powerful thought.
Yeah, and it makes you think about, like, what if our loved ones are still watching over us?
Ah, that's a comforting thought.
Yeah.
So this episode really brought up a lot of those big questions.
It did, and I think that's why it hit people so hard.
Yeah, and it makes you realize that This Is Us is more than just a TV show.
Totally. It's like a reflection of our own lives and our own struggle.
Exactly. It makes you think about your own family and your own relationships and the things you've been through.
And I think that's why people are so passionate about it.
Yeah, it's not just entertainment. It's like a shared experience.
Yeah, and I think that's something we've really seen in this deep dive.
Totally. Like reading those comments, it was like we were all going through this together.
Yeah, and even though we're just talking about a TV show, it felt really real,
It did. And I think that's the power of storytelling.
Yeah, it can bring people together and make them feel less alone.
And sometimes that's all we need.
Yeah. So, I guess that's it for our deep dive into This Is Us, Season 2, Episode 8.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for listening. And be sure to check out our other deep dives on all your favorite shows.